I mean, is Cooper Rush worth 2.5 points? I would hope Quinn Ewers put up a decent stat line against Arizona State. If he didn't, we have a real problem.
You can say the same thing about Creighton. Okay, they had the one good game against Kansas at home.
When Toast talks about the kicking market, it's like some earth is flat shit. Andy, true or false, this is going to be a dog walking.
Dog walking. This is my dog walking of the day. I think it's going to be very ugly. Dog walking. I think this is going to be ugly.
Hey, get this sword. Greetings. Happy Friday to you all. Hope you're all having a nice day. Hope you all had a nice Thursday night. I had a solid one. 4-2 last night was cool. Goddamn Hawks really kept me from, would have been an excellent night if I got the Hawks, because that was my biggest bet. So I didn't get the Hawks, but did have a winning night. Got Jay Briggs back. It's been a while. I've texted Jay probably like once every 3 or 4 weeks, but the schedules just never work out. We got him back for Friday, the day he used to come on. How's everything going with the jam session, Jay?
Man, what's happening, Kyle? What's happening, community over here, man? Everything is going smooth, you know. Just in the daily grind of betting. You know how it is.
Yep.
I don't know if many of you know here. I don't know, you know, we have a similar audience, but not everybody. Money Man Mitch passed away. So, you know, we've been trying to just steady the ship over there, just, you know, keeps things status quo. And, you know, shout out to Money Man Mitch, man, RP the GOAT. But outside of that, man, you know, that was a couple months ago. So just keeping steady, man. And back in the flow, NBA back out of All-Star break. We had a couple, what was it? Yesterday was the first day back. No, we had 2 days because the Lakers played the other day. So 2 days back now. And like you said, money making Friday, man. There's nothing like a money making Friday, man. So ready to cook it up. Ready to cook it up with the guys, man. Glad to be back over here with you, my man. It's been a while.
For sure. Good to see you. We got Ski here as well. Let's get him on and let's get into it. We got 9 games on the board. First one up. This line is disrespectful. I will admit I didn't play it right. So I was watching the games last night. The Knicks were up like 9 or 10 on the Bulls. The Cavs were down on the Nets. I took the Knicks at plus 7.5 because I was like, oh, Knicks are about to cruise control to a victory here, and Cleveland's going to have to claw their way back to beat the Nets. So I placed that bet, Knicks plus 7.5. As soon as I placed it, almost the exact opposite happened. The Cavs ended up cruising and covering the minus 12.5, and the Knicks ended up going to overtime. So the Knicks ended up being the team that struggled and had to work for it. Also, I was hoping to get Josh Hart back. I'm hoping to get OG Anunoby back. So my original plan when I placed this bet didn't really come to fruition. I expected the Knicks to be a little more rested with getting pieces back. That's not what I'm getting. That being said, I don't think Cleveland is nearly as good as their record indicates. I think a lot of people are overreacted to the small sample size. We know what this Cleveland team is. They're the 3 seed. They're the 4 seed. Knicks are top tier, best team in the Eastern Conference. I think they win outright. I got the money line. Go ahead. Everyone's going to complain about this one. Ski?
Well, I mean, you learned your lesson, right? Wait till the games are over and then place your bet. No, I'm kidding. But really, I think Josh Hart is a big deal for that New York Knicks team. He does a little bit of everything for them. So missing him is really a gut punch for them. We know how much OG means to that team as well. And Cleveland is just like a well-oiled machine. I mean, you kind of said it already. For New York to have to, you know, struggle and play that overtime game in Cleveland and kind of just roll, it's a spot that sets up really well for Cleveland here. They're healthy. Could even get Dean Wade back tonight. I think the longer the game goes on, more favors Cleveland. I think they can win by double digits.
You're laying right here.
I haven't bet it yet. I'm taking it easy.
Go ahead, bet it. I'll put the belt up on the first game.
Oh, okay. This is what we're doing. All right.
I'm on the Knicks.
I'm not running from that on this game.
I got plus 7.5, worst of the number, and I got the money line. Don't care. Ride with my guys. Jay, you gonna break this tie?
Everybody knows I'm a New York Knicks hater. Honestly, though, the line here, if this was a normal night, like if there was no situation here, I would at 8.5, I would take the Knicks in a heartbeat. But I don't like the situation for them. On the second leg of a back-to-back with travel, following an overtime game. Cleveland was my best bet yesterday, and I pushed at 13 against the Nets. Watching that first half, I was really nervous. Second half, they kind of looked like the Cleveland we come to know and love. And I kind of agree with Ski. I think the later this basketball game goes on, Cleveland at home, that's the stronger they look. It's just a bad spot and situation for the Knicks. Shout out to the Knicks. You know, they play better than I thought they would have at this point of the season. But I think tonight's just not their night.
I will say, if OG Anunoby doesn't play, Josh Hart's out. This is not the best version of the Knicks, but we're getting Mitchell Robinson back for the first time. And people don't realize in the playoffs last year, we were injured as hell in that Pacers series. We had nobody. So I don't think people realize quite how good this Knicks team could be. But you guys are going to learn. Don't worry. Let's move on to the next one. This next one, I was leaning Memphis last night at 2.5. I just lost fading the Magic last night. Orlando does match up decent with them. They do a good job defensively against the fast break, which is, you know, what Memphis wants to do. They can try to keep Memphis from getting to the rim. I mean, it's not a bad matchup for the Magic. I think Memphis is a significantly better team. I don't know what's going on with Jalen Suggs. He hasn't played in a month, but he's a game-time decision every goddamn day. So he's ruled out, by the way. So he's no longer questionable. He's ruled out. I think Memphis can win this game by a couple possessions. I couldn't bet it. I guess the move was to take the 2.5 last night. I didn't take it. It's just Memphis or pass here. I don't really feel very strongly about this one. Ski?
Yeah, I think I'm with you. I don't feel very strong about it either. You know, I've been saying at some point Orlando's going to, you know, get back in rhythm, get healthy, and go on a run. But and they were able to win their last game. But I do think Jalen Suggs is a big part of, you know, everything that they do. So when I think about that, and then the Grizzlies off of their loss yesterday, like the Grizzlies, they might be the best team off of a loss. I know they've been really good, something like 14-4, some ATS off of a loss, and I think they're the better team. So combination of all those things, I can only look towards the Grizzlies.
And actually, something I forgot to mention, Memphis has been significantly better than the Magic on back-to-backs this year. On 0 days rest, they're like 7-2, and Orlando is, I think, 4-5, something like that. So another reason I was leaning towards the Grizzlies. Jay, you got any strong feelings on this one?
I love the Orlando Magic tonight. I do. And it's nothing against what none of you guys said. It's just a gut feeling play. And sometimes you got to roll with those. And Ski, I'm in that same thought process where it's like, I'm willing to pay to be early on the Magic.
Okay.
I love the Magic. I made so much money betting in Orlando last year. It wasn't funny. Still, last 2 seasons combined, you look at the Orlando still covering at home at over like 65% clip. It's hard for me not to look in their direction. Memphis, I like betting them as well, but I love betting Memphis in Memphis. You know, Memphis, you put like the last 3-4 seasons combined, they're a way better home team than they are on the road. Off back-to-back road losses with travel tonight. Orlando, man, the vibes could be there. This is a defensive team. I just don't like the spot for Memphis tonight, and I could see it. Orlando turning back up, man. I think Orlando's a top 4 Eastern Conference team when everything's going right. It just hasn't been over the last month or so. Really, for a full season. At first, we attributed it to injuries. Then they got healthy. We were like, all right, here they go. And it hasn't worked. But I don't know. Post All-Star break, they had that little week off. I think this next week or two, maybe a little different. So we'll see.
I do like the way you phrased that. I'm willing to pay to be early on the Magic because I mean, I think everyone could agree. We do expect the pendulum to swing back at some point. And I get what you're saying. If you're just waiting for Suggs to be back, you might miss out on some opportunities to make some money. It might be too late. The market might catch up to it by the time Suggs gets back. So, I mean, I understand it. I'm not betting Memphis, so I'll root for you. Yeah, I don't hate it. Let's move on to the next one. And, I mean, we're polling at 65% Memphis. Not that this particularly matters, but I would imagine the Grizzlies will be a quote-unquote heavy public side here. Next up, Bucks, Wizards, Lillard's ruled out. I said Wizards are past last night. I don't freaking know. I mean, now that Giannis is back, I don't know. I mean, the Bucks went and beat the Clippers last night, so maybe now that Giannis is back, we can kind of just like disregard the last few weeks from the Bucks because their numbers look terrible. They look like an awful team. I think they were like 3-7 against the spread without him or something. So maybe now that Giannis is back, even without Lillard, we can start respecting the Bucks again. I'm not willing to put my money on either side. I'll say Wizards are past, but trust me, I am not betting this game.
Is it official that Giannis is playing tonight?
I think he's probable.
Yeah, he's probable.
Okay.
Yeah. Jay, you have anything for this one?
I put a unit this morning on Washington money line.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I took a flyer. Milwaukee's a team I love fading, just off the strength. And I was kind of hoping Giannis and Lillard missed this game on a second leg of a back-to-back in a travel spot. They don't need either one of them to beat Washington. But the way Washington kind of went into the break, sometimes I like taking flyers on like a Friday on a decent money line price, and Milwaukee's a perfect team that loses these style games all the time. Look through their schedule last 2 seasons, you'd be like, damn, this team lost to Portland, this team lost to Washington, this team lost, you know what I mean? Like their losses are the random losses, the ones you don't see coming. So on a Friday, I kind of just took a shot.
I just put the Wizards money line down. I like the confidence you spit that out at. I may be down to jump on that with you, honestly. Ski? Washington money line? Are you with us?
I'm not gonna say that I'll have a slip on it, but I'm not against it. I think the first thing that stood out to me was usually when we see Washington games, like they're a double-digit underdog, and we're looking at 6 right now.
Right.
I don't know. That kind of feels very telling to me. So Milwaukee, I mean, kind of like he was saying, I'm not big on Milwaukee. Like I'm very happy finding spots to fade them. And this could very well be one of them. So I'm with you guys, Washington or nothing. Other than that, you got Kyle Kuzma going back to play his former team, Middleton going back to play his former team. If you're into props, maybe you want to look at those guys.
We'll see. I might end up just tailing Jay on that just because that sounded fun, taking a Wizards money line. As of right now, I do not have a bet down, though. Let's move on to Heat Raptors. I don't have any... It's down to 2.5 now. I think the Heat are going to win and cover. Look, we don't have the hugest sample size, but the Raptors without Pirtle are piss. They suck. Like, they are bad. So I know that they've shown us a little bit recently. I don't think we can trust them without Jakob Pirtle. I think we have to look at the Raptors as on the level of the worst team in the NBA without Pirtle. I mean, I know it's a small sample size, but they're bad. Are the Heat that bad? They're pretty bad also. I guess Heat minus 2.5. I think the Raptors without Pirtle can't be trusted at all, but can't really trust Miami either, if we're being honest. So it's Heat or pass. Now that it's down to 2.5, I'm considering it. That's how I feel about this one. Ski?
I pretty much agree with everything you said, so I'm not going to go on. There's 2 games out of these last 6 that I don't have the strongest opinions on. This was one of them.
Jay?
This is a game I didn't bet. I just kind of left alone. I don't like fading Toronto in Toronto. As a home underdog this season, 16-8-1, covered in 66% of their games. I do kind of subscribe to what you're saying about Jakob Pirtle, though, being kind of the middleman inside. Miami, if we're going to take them seriously, these are the games they have to win, for the, to get back in it and, be who we think the Heat are. So I could go either way here in this one. That's why, I like much more other things than I left this one alone.
I have it right here. So in the last 5 games, check this out. In the last 5 games without Pirtle, now it's only 5 games, the Raptors have a 45% rebounding percentage. So they're getting not just out-rebounded, significantly out-rebounded. The offensive rating down to 104. Defensive rating, like terrible offense, terrible defense, terrible rebounding. Again, it's just 5 games, but that's how I arrived to where I was at. But let's go ahead and move on to the next one. I'd actually kind of talking myself into it. I might put a few dollars on Heat minus 2.5. All right. If the Pistons don't cover the minus 3.5 that I have, I think I'm going to remove the logo from the show. They're going to be referred to as the Detroit basketball team. If they look, the Pistons are starting to garner some respect, and maybe deservingly so. They've been playing well. You got the Spurs. No Wembanyama on a back-to-back. They can't play defense. They can't rebound. If the Pistons don't cover my minus 3.5 here, I'm done. I will never respect the organization again. In fact, I maybe I'll do it by mistake, but I'm going to make an effort to never say the word Pistons on this show again. So if they fuck this up, I'm done. Pistons minus 3.5 is my bet. This is a perfect spot. They should blow the Spurs out. And if they don't, I'm never respecting the organization again. So that's how I feel about this one. I'm on the Pistons. I got 3.5 last night.
As much as I would love to fade you after that breakdown, I think I agree. Like like a lot of times we see when a star player goes down, like that team shows up for that first game after, and the Spurs showed up and got that win versus Suns last night. We don't always see that continue long term. They're still getting used to De'Aaron Fox over there, etc. And I think that this Detroit team, you can say what you want, Kyle. This is not the Detroit team of the past few years.
We'll see.
Like, they're 3 games above 500 right now. They say they want to make the playoffs. I think they're hungry. I think they will win this game by margin. So I'm in agreement with you on the Pistons.
They should. Jay, do you agree?
I don't.
Come on, dude. You're not taking the Spurs here.
I might. This is another game I haven't quite bet yet, but in that same breath, laying points on the road with the Pistons out of the break is just, I'm not ready to do that with this team yet. I'm not. Are they much improved from last year? Hell yeah. Do I love me some Cade Cunningham? Of course. But it's still the Pistons at the end of the day. And the Spurs, I know they lost Wemby, but still a little value over there. So what I said this morning on the jam session is the Pistons show me again a couple more times out of the break, and then I'll be back to betting you. You know, that's just where I'm at. So it's not a play against them. It's not a fade over. It's just, let me see it again out of the break. Young team.
I mean,
fair.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be lying if I said I don't have that thought a little bit in my head. That's why I started by saying that, because I got a -3.5. It's now at 4.5. I should be confident. Like, I got a point of CLV. Like, I should be sitting comfortably, and the truth is I'm not. So I'd be lying if I said I don't understand what you're saying. I like this comment right here from Michael Hall. He says, Detroit is my team. They'll lose. Trust me. That's just a lot of pain in those words. Let's move on to the next one. New Orleans, Dallas. Oh, shit. I haven't talked to Jay since the trade. I think I sent you a text, but are you still a Mavericks fan? What's the official word on that?
The team from Dallas is the official word. I'm still in mourning, honestly, and no, as of right now, I am not a fan.
So you're not a Dallas Mavericks fan right now.
# Lake Show. You feel me?
You really? So that wasn't like just having fun on Twitter. You're legitimately a Lakers fan.
I'm a Luka fan, at this point. So that's just where I'm at, and that's where he's at, so that's where I'm at. And LeBron is my second favorite player of all time. I think he's the GOAT. So you got my 2 favorite players on the same team. It's kind of a dream in heaven, so that's where I'm at the moment. But, man, yeah, you don't – for a city like Dallas, you don't do something like that. You just don't, man, You just don't do that, So you can't – this is my official stance on it. You can't ask a city to buy in to what you're selling and then rip their hearts out after they do completely buy in, and that's essentially what they did. We're a city that we love loyalty. Dirk played here 21 seasons. We thought we were getting it again. Now that he's gone, who cares if we win a championship in the next 2? Man, we wanted to do it with our guys, so it's kind of how it feels. So
damn, that actually moved me.
It hurt, bro. It hurt.
Well, on that note, Dallas has been covering. I mean, what are your thoughts on this matchup?
6-0 since Anthony Davis.
Yep.
Man. I've left some money on the table. I haven't really faded them, I think, except for once, but they've been balling. Even no bigs. It's been kind of crazy. So I'm interested to hear what you guys think for this one.
So I got the over last night at 235.5. It's up at 237.5 now, obviously, which you like to see. So like Jay said, Dallas is 6-0 against the spread since Anthony Davis got hurt. And it's not just Anthony Davis. It's Gafford. It's Lively. They don't have a front court. Like they literally just don't have a front court, but it hasn't affected their offense. They're still scoring. Actually, their offense looks great in the last 6 games, and the Pelicans can't even spell defense. I don't think anybody in the entire city of New Orleans can spell defense right now. It's so bad. They can't stop anybody. So I have no reason to believe Dallas has not had problems scoring points. I have no reason to believe at home they're going to score a shitload of points here on New Orleans. And on the other side of the court, I mean, Dallas defensively hasn't looked all that great. They've covered 6 in a row on the backs of their offense. Defensively, they haven't been all that great. They're not as bad as the Pelicans, but It hasn't been that great. And New Orleans is actually capable of scoring. I mean, they do have somewhat of an offense. Should be something of a fast-paced game. Maybe not a Pacers-Grizzlies game, but something of a fast-paced game. And you got Zion Williamson. Obviously, he likes to attack the basket. Dallas has no bigs to protect the rim, which means they're going to have to collapse. I could see, actually, Prop Beaver was talking about this yesterday. I could see New Orleans getting a lot of open looks from outside because they're going to have to collapse to keep Zion Williamson from getting whatever he wants at the rim. So maybe if you're like a prop guy, Pelicans three-point shooter over. I didn't look or anything. I'm just saying how I expect the game to go. But I'm on the over. I got it at 235.5. Skate?
I agree with the way you're thinking about the game. This was the other game that I didn't really have a strong opinion on, but I do agree. Like, there's no paint protection for Dallas. They're going to be playing small. Zion, is probably going to get whatever he wants, and if he doesn't, like, it's probably because of what you said. They're collapsing, and he'll kick out to an open shooter. So I think you can play Zion props. I like your look on the over, and that's pretty much all I have here. But as a I was born a Laker fan. It's an unusual situation. We'll allow some new fans to come over.
Appreciate it.
The Lakers bandwagon is accepting new users.
Yeah, we're good with that.
Jay, what are your thoughts?
I'm emotional about this game. I'll be 1,000 about this team. I haven't put $1 on them. I really don't plan on it unless I love it. New Orleans, though, is the #1 team on my fade list. It's them, Sacramento, and Phoenix. Those three teams are I'm pretty much automatic fade list. So if there was ever a spot where I would have to swallow my pride and bet the Mavs, it would be tonight. I do like the over, though. The way you were talking about it, I think Zion has a field day down low, but I think Kyrie has a field day today as well. Any word on Clay and PJ Washington? I know this morning they were still questionable.
Clay is in. PJ Washington still questionable.
Washington did practice fully yesterday, so he should be able to go.
Okay.
Cool. So lean towards Dallas. I don't know if I'd put any money on it, honestly, though.
All right, let's move on to the next one. And honestly, I think if I knew everyone was going to play for Minnesota, I think I would take the +3.5. Kind of like what Jay was saying about the Pistons. I know that Houston's a good team. They've showed us enough of a sample size the second half of last year and then a lot of the beginning of this year. But right now they're not. And until they show me that I should be trusting them again, I don't think I could straight up. You take the last, 3-4 weeks, straight up, Minnesota's been better than Houston. Now, the Rockets have had some injuries. Şengün is back, but Fred VanVleet, Steady Freddy, is still not back. So I think I'm at a prove it to me Houston type of situation. That's my stance on the Rockets right now. Prove it to me. Minnesota, despite all the injuries, DiVincenzo goes down. Julius Randle, not that moves the needle much, but DiVincenzo goes down.
You love Randle. You love Randle.
No, Ski hates him.
I hate him. Despise him.
Ski randomly sends me, I'll get like a tweet sent to me from Ski. It's like shitting on Randall, probably like twice a week. Hates Julius Randle. So DiVincenzo gets hurt. Julius Randle's been out for 9 games now. They're still 5-4 against the spread, 5-4 straight up in those 9 games. They're playing well on both sides of the floor. They're scoring. They're playing some defense. They're not playing elite basketball, but they're playing some solid basketball. The only thing, obviously, I haven't bet this because you got Conley, Anthony Edwards, Rudy Gobert, all questionable. And even if one of those pieces are out, I want nothing to do with it. But if you told me right now all 3 of those guys are playing and I could still get a 3.5, I think I'd do it. The problem is if they're ruled in, I doubt the 3.5 remains. It probably drops down to like 1.5. So that's how I feel about the game. Don't have any money on it currently. Jay?
I'm in the same boat as you. It's Minnesota or leave it alone. I love betting Houston. Houston was another team we made a lot of money with last season at home. But I'm kind of in the we're seeing it this is the exact same way. Since Fred VanVleet's been out, this team hasn't been the same. He's the point guard. He's the guy that makes it go. He's one of the most underrated players in all of the league, honestly. And I think it's been evident in the Rockets' play since he's been out. It's almost a direct correlation. So Minnesota, they are the house of disappointment. I love fading this team, mainly at home, though. On the road, they're more trustworthy. So I'm leaning towards Minnesota in this one plus points.
Ski?
So when you first started your breakdown, I was laughing because we talked about this a while ago. And what Jay just said, I mean, that's what I was saying. Like, I don't trust Jalen Green handling the show down the stretch. He's the reason why stuff be going south. Like when he was out the game, a lot of games I'm watching, they playing good. And, you know, it's going the Rockets' way. He comes in and just starts forcing and turn the ball over. They need Fred VanVleet to run the show.
Steady Freddie.
So one thing, that's why they haven't been able to close games. Like if you remember, we talked a while ago and I said Rockets will win the first half of whatever game we're talking about and then trick it off and lose the full game. That's kind of how I could see this one going, especially if you got Anthony Edwards in. Like, I don't want to be betting against Anthony Edwards in the fourth quarter versus when I got this Houston's team. That's how I feel about it. If you had Conley, Edwards, and Gobert in, I still think I would be okay with Houston first half, get in and get out. If Edwards was out, maybe you can get away with full game. But I just think Houston first half, they throw the first punch.
Houston first half. That'll probably be like -1.5. All right, Houston first half. All right, let's actually, put it up on the screen so they can see real quick, and then we'll move on to the next one. Houston first half for Ski. We got 2 games left, and this next one, I kind of changed the tune a little bit. If you watch the video I uploaded last night, I said Oklahoma City or pass. The big three's active. Walker Kessler.
Oh my God.
No, the big Jay. So Jay, the big three of rebounding is Utah. And some people don't like that I call them the big three, but Kessler, Markkanen, and Collins, when they're active, that's the big three of rebounding. Now, here's why I haven't bet it is Oklahoma City. I mean, you used to be able to hang your hat on the fact that they can't rebound. They're like the best team in the league in every other aspect that they can't rebound, but they're actually rebounding now. So does this team even have a weakness? 15.5 points in the elevation. The big three is active. I kind of am switching over to the Jazz or pass side. I didn't bet the game, but last night I said Thunder or pass. I kind of think I'm standing Jazz or pass. So you could put Jazz up for me. I don't have a bet on it. Man, Oklahoma City, Ski, I was in Vegas with you. We watched them. Actually, it was to Dallas is the team they lost to. They're punting now. They're acting like the 1 seed now. They're doing 1 seed type shit. Which I don't know. I kind of want to bet the Jazz. I didn't, though. You guys have any thoughts?
Thunder buddies for life. Man, just the Thunder are my favorite money-making team. It's a team you just don't doubt. And especially not for the Jazz. I love betting the Jazz. We made a good money with the Jazz at home last season, but that's not who the Jazz have been at home this season. And I think I do kind of feel you when you said they're kind of acted like the 1 seed here recently. I think their last 10, they're not probably great. But full season, they're still really good. And I think post All-Star break, kind of how like the Celtics came out last night and put belt the ass on Philadelphia, just kind of flex their muscles. Hey, we still the best team in the league. I think the Thunder kind of come out and do the same thing tonight. Like, quit playing with us. We still, that. And that's why I'm on Oklahoma City tonight. If I don't have a clear and concise reason to fade Oklahoma City, I'm not doing it. And so that's why I'm there.
So, to Oklahoma City, 5-6-1 against the spread in their last 12. So, about 500. But if you narrow it down to like the last 5 or 6, it looks like maybe they're starting to kick up a little bit. But I do understand what you're saying. We did see Boston. Thank God they got up and over. Did you guys see how that got over, by the way?
I didn't, actually. I just saw the end of the score.
Dude, so the game was over. I had 223.5, so I cashed. It was on 224. But it was 35 seconds left, and they were just running the clock out. And the Sixers dude took it, ran down the floor, and scored like a meaningless bucket at the end to go over. People in the Discord were going nuts. So anyway, Ski, big three of rebounding. How do you fade that?
I'll let y'all figure out and duke it out on the side. I'll think about the total. And when I think about a healthy Utah team, I mean, I know they're missing Sexton still, but you got a lot of guys who can score now. Still not a team that can play very great defense, but you got a lot of bucket getters over there. For OKC, I think they can name their number versus Jazz team. Jazz, I went over, 6 straight games now, all past this mark that we're looking at for today. And the first game out the break, I personally just don't think you get OKC's or I don't think you get OKC's best defensive game in this spot tonight. That's kind of what I'm trying to say. So over 234.5 is where I'm looking at.
Oklahoma City has a big lead at half. Take Jazz live plus the points. In the elevation, they fade. Stop playing defense. That's how it's going down.
I've seen crazier. I've seen it in Utah plenty of times.
That same exact pattern all the time in Utah. Oh shit, prop beaver's on the screen for the last game.
Hello.
So Warriors Kings. Man. So I bet this game. I kind of got talked into it. I don't like my bet. I feel like everyone in the world's on the same side here. I got the Warriors money line at minus 130 or something. The Warriors have been significantly better. It's also a decent matchup to win the turnover battle. Sacramento can't defend the three-point line for shit. Obviously, as I'm sure you know, Steph Curry shoots a lot of them things out there. Golden State should have plenty of opportunities to hit outside shots. Like I said, Sacramento can't protect the basketball. They also can't force turnovers. Golden State should win. Why do I have this feeling the Kings are going to win? I bet the Warriors. I can't sit here confidently and say I was leaning Warriors, and people in the group were like, yo, we're on the Warriors. And I was like, all right, I'll do it. And I kind of got conned into it. It was Reem. Reem in the Discord kind of conned me into it. But I'm holding the Warriors ticket. I'm really not confident about it. Either you guys on the Kings?
You don't like that everybody's betting the Warriors. That's why you don't feel good about it.
Yeah, just rock with it. Sometimes you just got to rock with it. The public win too. The public win too. I say that.
It's not just the public. It just feels like this Kings team, man. They're going to... no, I'm not. Go ahead. You guys are on Warriors too?
No, the Kings team, I'm going to say like this. They're just a collection of individual offensive talent. Like, I don't think they're a good team. You don't have guys over there who are going to play defense. On the Warriors side, I'd love the addition of Jimmy Butler for them, both offensively and defensively. So you got one team who's going to play defense, one team who got better offensively too. And they've lost what? I think they've lost 4 or 5 straight to this Kings team. I think it's time for them to turn things around. They're hungry. They're only one game above 500. I think it's time to buy on the Warriors right now.
Yeah, I did look at that as well last night, that the Kings have beaten them. So, I mean, I'm on the same side as you. So I'm not arguing with you or anything. I'm just saying I'm not overly confident about it. How about that? But it seems like Jay is with us.
I am. I'm just going to rattle off some numbers to y'all. Sacramento, 0-3 this season as a home underdog ATS. Sacramento tied for the worst overall ATS team in the NBA full season. Sacramento only covering in 33% of their overall home games this season as they're 8-16-3 at home. Sacramento has just been an outright fade. And I'm with Ski in a lot of what he said. I think the addition of Jimmy Butler at the very beginning, I wasn't all that high on it because I don't think he's too much better than Andrew Wiggins in reality, but then again, yes, he is. I think everything that comes with him, he kind of is. And I think that energy that he brings is what's going to turn up the Warriors. Him and Steph are going to feed off each other. And I just don't think the Kings have enough for these boys tonight. So I'm with you, Kyle. I bet money line. I kind of wimped out, but I probably should have just laid it. But I've been burnt a couple of times on these 2.5s, 1.5s, in college hoops mainly. But in the NBA, I just took the Warriors money line tonight.
Yeah, and to what you said about Jimmy Butler, I would agree. He's just more complete. I mean, maybe Andrew Wiggins, if you're just as a scorer, is comparable, but Butler's active on the offensive glass. He's facilitating. So, yeah, I agree. Butler's the more complete player. So, wow, you actually have a Jimmy Butler prop up there.
Yeah, speaking of Jimmy Butler, he's just been a great teammate. If you play 2K, I mean, you rack up the rebounds, the assists, you get the teammate grade up. I mean, this guy's getting an A+ every goddamn game because he's racking up the assists, he's racking up the rebounds. If you look, his 4 games as a Warrior, second on the team in potential assists per game at 11, first on the team in rebound chances per game at 13. He's now hit this line in 3 straight games. And more importantly for us, I mean, 12+ rebound chances in 3 straight, 10 potential assists in 3-4 contests. That's despite the first 2 games. He only played 30 minutes per game. You look at the last 2, he's had 35 in each of those 2. So he's starting to see a heavy amount of minutes. And with just 9+ potential assists, 12+ rebound chances, 7-2 this season over his last 24 of 29, headed back to last season. Now going to face the Kings defense. I think matches up really nice for him to rack up those assists. What does he do? He loves to drive to the rim. And what does the Kings defense really struggle to do? Defend the three ball. I think when he drives to the rim, he's going to pass it up to some open guys on the outside and have a field day racking up those dimes today. And then if you look over the last 15 games, Kings have allowed the 12th most rebounds per game, 5th most assists per game to the power forward position. I just think we got to keep riding with Jimmy if he's going to keep getting these minutes, keep getting these expanded opportunities with his new team here. So Jimmy Butler over 11.5 rebounds and assists. I actually put a unit and a half on this just because I think we're going to be catching this at 13.5 soon. So to be getting 11.5 minus 110, I think carries quite a bit of value.
What about a Jimmy Butler triple-double?
I mean, I think that's a bit nuts here, but if you really wanted to go for it, shoot for the stars, aim for the moon, my friend.
All right, so go back to a
Jimmy Butler, teammate grade, A+, minus 110.
A+,
yeah.
Every day.
Jimmy Butler over 2.5 great teammate plays. Go back to 3 people on the screen so the names are right.
Okay.
All right, so I'm sure everyone watching already knows where to find these guys, but Jay, in case someone's watching that's never seen you before, where can they find your stuff?
Man, you can check out the jam session every day over on Pick Dog's YouTube channel. So that's where you guys can find me on the daily, doing live shows and
yeah, they do a morning show. And what time do you upload daily? Like late morning, right?
Yeah, like 10 a.m. Central Time, so like 11 Eastern or 10 Eastern, just depends. So somewhere in that time frame, and morning time though, around there.
Yep, cool. Make sure you guys go check it out. Hit the subscribe button. And then I'm sure most of you guys know where to find Ski stuff, but in case they don't, Ski.
Yeah, all my work, find me at Ski Profit. Also do work at Wager Talk. Have the late night show with Ronald Kabang at 10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And then I'm, ramping back up my show. I did it with Rob Vino this morning at about 10:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So Ski Profit, you can find all my work. Appreciate you for having me on.
Cool.
Same.
Talk to you guys later. Have a good weekend. Let's talk some college ball. Let's get Toast Scrub Ass up on the screen.
We got 2 scrubs coming on the screen.
Shout out Toast. You too, Brody. Baseball on the way, man. It's on the way. Yes, sir. Same.
All right. So we got Toast coming on. Toast, you guys didn't hear him. He was just chirping about the Pacific game that he won by 2 points. Kind of got lucky to cover it. You know what, though? Toast did get a W yesterday because someone commented with all your picks and was like, time to fade and make money. Like one of those like dickhead comments. And it was like L. Like if they faded your picks, it was like loss. That was a good one.
Really, the only thing that I really screwed up on was betting USC again. I mean, because if you take that away, I was like almost like a 2-unit day for me. Like I was.
Yeah, I saw you had some good ones.
What up, party people?
Yes, Scoop is back. Scoop's been busy with work. Hopefully next month it's freeing up for March Madness. We're hoping to get Scoop back on here more often. Scoop, are you good for tomorrow morning or not? By the way, Trev's ready to go if you can.
No, I'm not.
Okay, cool. So with that being said, let's get into some college ball. Dartmouth, Penn. We're starting off with a scorcher. I think Toast has a bet in this game, by the way.
Oh, I do. There's no question about it. Dartmouth is so good. They haven't been losing games at all, and yet they're catching points. It's just a stinky line. I took Penn at home on the money line just because of the line. Again, I'm not going to argue with anybody that Dartmouth is the better team, but Penn has lost 5 games in a row now. I will say all those games besides – actually, you know what? Brown is probably just as good as Dartmouth. So all those games that they played, they just lost. All those games, those teams have been much better than Dartmouth, including Yale twice and Princeton. And Princeton can score with the best of them. They only lost to Princeton by 2, Yale by 1. I actually think this is a decent spot for the Quakers tonight. So I did play Penn on the money line at like minus 120 or something like that.
Scoop?
Good to be back. I do work here part-time, by the way. It's not like
no,
okay.
I didn't mean it like get your ass together.
I know I'm a scrub, but I know Trev's better than me. But
Scoop does some stuff behind the scenes too. He's not just on camera. Like all the results on the website.
I need you like the beginning of March, Scoop. That's when I need you.
I got you.
I'm gonna be in Hawaii.
Yeah, we're talking about Dartmouth. I guess Toast requested this 6-16 UPenn Quakers here to talk about, right?
Yeah, I did because I really like Penn tonight. You got to play. Don't be scared.
Yeah, like Toast said, Penn coming into this one with 5 straight losses. I don't know. I know Toast is a big UPenn fan. I know he took them here. I don't really see how personally. The only 2 teams that beat them they beat were Harvard and Columbia in conference. I just see this kind of as a ho-hum game for Dartmouth. My Dartmouth brethren. I mean, Penn is one of the worst 3-point teams in the country. Dartmouth is pretty solid from that area, defending it. Even if Penn gets more possessions here, which they might, Dartmouth's defense should shut them down for the most part. UPenn's 230th in the offensive efficiency, 315th in defense. And with Dartmouth playing a fast game, fast pace, I just think they'll score enough here to put this game away. Not to mention Dartmouth's defense is quietly solid. So the thing is, Penn, they're 312th in scoring. They're averaging 67 points per game, and that's with a slow pace and really poor shot quality. I get Toast saying the line's weird, which I agree completely. I'm not betting this. It's just, I don't trust this game enough to put money on UPenn. I guess that is the right way if you're going to bet this game. It's just a weird line. But with Penn shooting, I think it's 353rd in opponent 3-point shooting percentage, and I think they're 42% giving up at home. Yeah, I just don't feel like playing Penn here.
Really quickly, though, just to shout out to the Quakers. They've played a much better schedule as well. Number 178 in the country. Dartmouth's in almost the 300s as well. And another thing is Penn should slow this game down. They don't turn the ball over. And Dartmouth relies a lot on that 3-ball, shooting close to 40% as a team. So if their 3-ball's not going tonight and they turn the ball over, speaking about Dartmouth, it could be a long night. I'm just saying, I think most people that are looking to bet this game are going to see Dartmouth at plus money and be like, oh yeah, that's easy money. And I don't think it's going to be.
I can't believe you guys just talked about Penn Dartmouth for that long. Next game.
I wasn't planning on it. The one time I'm on the show, I get invited to UPenn.
Me and Prop Beaver are sitting here all right.
My mouth started to unhinge, started to open.
Well, we still got Cornell and Yale to talk about. So.
Now let's talk about a real game, Marquette Villanova, and I'm a little worried that this line is still sitting at 1.5. Last night, if you watched the midnight show, I declared Villanova as the fake sharp bet of the day. Marquette is significantly better than Villanova, but Villanova is better at home. I think Villanova is a fake sharp play here. Marquette should clear. I believe all 3 of us on the show last night took Marquette. Toast. So if you're about to go Nova, you're going against me, you're going against Trevor, you're going against Huff.
And I'm going against Scoop. Cats up, baby. I didn't bet it, but now I want to, just to be on the other side of everybody else, to be dead honest with you. Because honestly, in what world is Villanova like a 1.5 point underdog? I mean, they should be at least 3.5 minimum. So I mean, this line stinks. I'm not going to bet it because I'll never stop saying that I think that Villanova is a bad basketball team and they've gotten lucky a few times. But this line absolutely reeks. There's no way in hell I'd bet Marquette at this number. No way in hell.
Scoop, you're on the Golden Eagles here.
Oh yeah, put a unit on this. Hell yeah, I'm on the Marquette here. Nova's a different team at home. I agree. They only had 2 losses at home in Big East play, but they did beat UConn, Xavier, St. John's. The 2 losses at home were by combined 3 points, 1 to Georgetown and 2 to Creighton, which Ashworth's winning shot was crazy in that Creighton game. But Nova played Marquette already this season, lost by 13 at Marquette. Game wasn't really close the whole way. Do you think Kyle Neptune survives this season, honestly, Toast, or you think he's gone after this?
I don't know. I mean, it's a longer discussion. I would assume so, just because it's Villanova and they keep their guys. And
true,
but at the same time, this is going to be his 3rd year, so going into 4th year. I mean, he's barely 500 all those years. Probably not a good chance.
Yeah, I mean, they're in their soft part of their schedule pretty much. They just beat Seton Hall and DePaul. I know Nova's solid at home, but Marquette's just a far better team right now. I look at the schedule and see the Nova, wins against St. John's. St. John's, they just beat 2 top 20 teams before that, so it was a letdown spot for St. John's. And right now, Marquette lost 2 straight road games going into this one, Creighton and St. John's, and this is a step down in class for those 2 teams compared to those 2 teams. So as good as Nova can shoot, and Eric Dixon obviously has been awesome. I'm taking nothing away from him, but I mean, Marquette is 8-0 last 8 against Nova, 8-0 against the spread the last 8 in Nova. I know Marquette isn't a great shooting team, but they do play solid defense. Their assist to turnover ratio is high. They're one of the better teams in the league, with that being in the top 25. They move the ball around well, and they take care of the ball. So they're actually third in they're the third best in giving up turnovers every game. So, and Nova isn't exactly ball hounders on defense. I don't think they're going to put pressure on them at all. So Marquette should get to the line. They do pretty well at that too. I think Nova's time's up. They needed the last 2 games to make any kind of resume to make it to the tournament. That's over now. So I think Marquette should win this game and cover.
Just to give you an idea, we're polling at 80%.
Marquette. Oh yeah, Marquette's definitely a public side.
And this line is still sitting at 1.5. So somebody somewhere out there is some very sharp action coming in on the Villanova side.
This is like the definition of sharp versus
of the
public.
pros versus public. Yeah. There are professional bettors hitting Villanova out there somewhere. They're keeping this line at 1.5. So all right, let's go to the next game.
Keep it.
Cornell, Yale.
Ivy League.
Well, go ahead, guys.
I didn't bet this game. So did you?
Didn't you? I thought it was on.
Bro, yes, you did. I saw.
Oh, yes, I did. I played the over. I'm sorry, I totally forgot. I got my Ivy because I was thinking Princeton.
I got my Ivy Leagues messed up.
No, because I had Prince. I played Princeton too, and I was gonna lay 7.5, but I liked Iona and the line moved. I played them in a money line. That's on me. My bad. Yale, Cornell. I played the over in this one. 2 teams. Cornell, one of the fastest paced teams in the country. Or sorry, not the country. Well, actually, yeah, they are fastest, but one of the fastest paced teams in the country. Fastest by far in the Ivy League. They're very good at shooting 2-pointers. They don't really rely on the 3-point shot. Yale offensively, it's essentially the best 2 offenses in the Ivy Leagues. And then Cornell's defense is absolutely terrible. Yale's defense is decent, but at the same time, the pace we're going to see here, I mean, we're probably going to be pushing 75 to 80 possessions in this game. I mean, every time Cornell plays, they play 75 plus possessions, it seems like. So, and a team with Yale that's not going to mind to run with them a little bit. I played the over in this game.
Yeah, so I didn't even look at this game until I saw it was on her thing, and I mean, this is not your mother's Yale team, obviously. This is a different Yale's team.
Not your
Yale
mother's?
is like very, very good. Like they could make a run in the tournament.
They made the run last year too.
I know, and the people are sleeping on them again this year.
I mean, the team's been great, and I wasn't looking at this, but I'm probably gonna tail Toast here. I actually like it. I mean, ironically, Yale was the 2 hardest games were against Columbia and Penn, which are the 2 worst teams in the conference. I know Cornell's on a bit of a slide. They lost 3 in a row. They got rocked by Dartmouth. I saw, what Toast put down. I agree with him. I think this game goes over. Before that Dartmouth game, Cornell's putting up points. They're actually 17th in the country scoring offense and 319th in scoring defense. They're actually 5th in shooting percentage and 2nd in effective field goal percentage. Everyone on this team can shoot from the inside and behind the 3-point line. They're 89th in offensive. Yale's 89th in offensive efficiency as well, and really they play an okay defense. They're running a really fast pace, 29th in tempo. They run a lot, and usually on offensively, I mean, Cornell can't transition whatsoever on defense. If you watch, you can see what Yale can do. Their offense is way better than their defense, kind of like what Toast said. And for Yale, Cornell is 17th in scoring offense, but Yale's right behind them at 18th. So, and same thing with Yale's field goal percentage. They're 5th in 3-point percentage. So, yeah, these Ivy Leaguers can shoot. They both shoot the ball well, and they both have an below average defense, or in Cornell's case, a very poor defense. And these 2 just played 2 weeks ago, and that game was 103 to 88 at Cornell. So I see that kind of game here, back and forth with no stops for the most part.
Next, Dayton, Loyola, Chicago. I said I like Dayton on the show last night. I didn't bet it.
Yeah, I think Loyola is a pretty popular play today. I played the under in this game, under 141.5 for me personally. I think this is kind of like a, as you would say, like in the NBA, a playoff type atmosphere. These 2 teams are going to be fighting for in the A-10. They're both sitting at 8 and 5, so they're essentially playing for the 3rd seed. I mean, obviously other things can change, but this is going to be a very important game for both of these teams. Dayton hasn't really been really good defensively, but at the same time, over the last few weeks, they have started to play much, much better. And so I don't really worry about them defensively too much. I know that their numbers don't really look good, but the one thing that's really positive about Dayton is they do force a lot of turnovers. So I don't think that Loyola is going to have a lot of easy looks at the basket tonight. Not to mention the fact that Loyola relies a lot on the 3 ball. In a game like this with high intensity, which I think it's going to be, I don't really rely on them shooting the 36 to 40% I think they've been accustomed to lately. And then the Loyola defense has been pretty damn solid themselves. So Dayton shoots free throws really well, and they also rely on the 3-point shot. Both these teams really rely on the 3-point shot. I just think it's going to be a kind of grinded out type of game. Neither one of these teams play fast. I think you're going to see a lot of hard-nosed possession possessions in the half court. And if they start hitting their threes, so be it. But I thought this number was a little bit too much. I had this game at like around 135, 136. So anything under 140, I'm good.
Scoop?
Yeah, so like Toast said, this is a big game in A10. Both of these teams have had kind of a weird year. Dayton came on really strong and had a terrible run with that George Washington UMass loss, but they recovered well. They do have I think, a slightly better offense here, and I know Loyola Chicago had a worse run. They had those 6 losses in 8 games, and they're really inconsistent, but lately they won 5 of their last 6. Honestly, it's hard to trust either of these teams. These two played already as well. Dayton won by 2 at home. They went to overtime. I would lean Loyola Chicago's way. Actually, the last time I talked about Loyola, I talked shit about Sister Jean, and then they rattled off 5 of 6. So Sister Jean and the team obviously watched the show. Loyola, they're tough at home. They only lost 1 game at home this season. That was against VCU, second best team in the conference, and during that terrible stretch too. So that's the time they lost. But this offense is clicking right now, and Dayton plays really, really slowly. They're efficient offensively, but the problem with that is it's hard to pull them away from teams from the pace that they play. And with that slow play, I mean, Loyola's gonna lean on the defense. They held 7 of their last 8 under 70 points. So Dayton's been a decent amount worse as a road team this year, in both offense and defense. They're only 500 on the road. Jaden Dawson and Des Watson have played a lot better in this mini run than they have earlier in the season. So it's just Dayton hasn't played in the top teams in the A10 well, really, right now. So, yeah, I'm going to bet on Loyola Chicago, Sister Jean, and the monastic nunnery in the stands to rally this team to a 14-1 start at home.
Scoop said, I talk shit about Sister Jean, and then they won 5 out of 6.
Yes, tell me.
Scoop talked shit about Sister Jean. He said, all right, next game. In what world? In what world? Michigan laying 3.5?
Oh yeah. That's me.
You're on Michigan.
Yeah, man.
You realize that Michigan State's a superior program, superior coaching, superior talent.
I wouldn't say Izzo's a superior coach, but
over Dusty May? Yes.
Are you kidding me?
Dusty May's a beast.
January, February Izzo, bro.
No, it's not Izzo yet. It's February.
It's still February. Izzo is still bet. Go ahead.
Michigan's undefeated at home. They're 12-0. They just won 6 straight. Huge rivalry game, not only for the rivalry, but first place in the Big Ten right now, really. Dusty May has done awesome with Michigan. Far superior coach than Tom Izzo. Tom Izzo's washed. Obviously, Michigan State, January, February, Izzo is more prepared for this moment historically, I would say. But Michigan has the defensive edge here and the size advantage. I think State's going to have a problem defending Wolf and Golden on the inside. On the other side, you can say Michigan will have struggles with transition defense. They have all year. Michigan State has a great fast break, but they still don't have a three-point shot. They don't actually even shoot the three-point a lot at all. I know Michigan in these 6 straight, all of their wins were by 4 or less, but I like the matchup here. I actually got this at 2.5, by the way, so it's nice that it was a possession at least. So 7-footers playing alongside each other. Wolf sets a bunch of off-ball screens. It'll create spots for everyone else on the team. The Wolverines are, 43%. They actually shoot 43% from, 36% rate, 43% clip. The 2-starter guard, Burnett and Donaldson, they're shooting over 40% from 3, which is going to stretch the defense and is going to lead to looks for Golden and Wolf, I think. So the way Michigan wins is having Michigan State obviously take outside shots. Michigan State can't do that. They defend the outside shot well too, Michigan. So if they do go on the inside, I just think Michigan has a far better defense than Michigan State here. I know people say Michigan's due for some late game regression. Obviously, you saw those wins. They're barely pulling them out, but I don't see it. They haven't shown it yet this season. Michigan has extra rest going into this one, and plus you already saw Michigan State play 2 terrible road games against USC and UCLA, 2 significantly worse teams than Michigan. I know it's a West Coast swing, but this team also just lost to Indiana a few games ago at home. So, yeah, I like Michigan here. They actually still play each other again after this game. 2 weeks in Michigan State. That's the last game of the regular season. I think they'll split these two personally. I think this one's going to go to Michigan, and the next one's going to go to Michigan State. So,
what are we doing here? Did we not see what happened when Sparty went to Illinois? They were laying 6.5 points. I took Sparty money line. Light work. Oh, and then everyone's like, oh,
Illinois is a shit.
Then Purdue.
Program.
Oh, it's a Purdue. It's a
Purdue's
flat
Purdue's
it
also a shit
was a
program.
letdown against Purdue. It's a letdown.
And then they beat
I
Purdue.
didn't say that. Purdue and Illinois are significantly worse than Michigan.
It's February 21st. It's dangerously
Significantly
close.
worse than Michigan?
Illinois and Purdue, yes.
Jesus.
Wow.
Purdue's
Sparty
a
up.
shit program. Illinois is a shit program.
Wow.
The Big Ten is shit in
You're
general.
crazy, dude.
When's the last time the Big Ten won an NCAA tournament, by the way?
I'm just saying, you just went on a rant about Dusty May, who had one Cinderella run in the tournament and then got booted in the first round, and that's all he's ever done. I mean, I'm just saying, like, he's not that good of a coach. And keep in mind, he's already was rumored to go to Indiana too. Michigan doesn't even really want his ass. He's like a placeholder.
Wow.
I played the under.
Not anymore.
Yeah, not anymore.
I mean,
but-
if they lose the first round of the tournament,
yeah, placeholder for sure. Now there's rumors that Chris Beard's going to Illinois or Indiana. Anyway, under for me.
Dude,
Under,
this is
under,
1999. Tom Izzo hasn't won in fucking 30 years.
under for me. First of all, I think that Michigan State's going to try to slow this game down. I think they figured out the kind of way that they want to play, especially those last two games against Illinois and Purdue. Both those teams are run a little bit slower, kind of like, and I understand that Michigan kind of runs at a little bit of a faster pace, but it's nothing too crazy that I don't think that Michigan State can slow down. I also think that Michigan's going to want to hold on to the ball as much as possible. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw them slow down a little bit. We've seen in their last few games, usually in the start of the season, they were pushing 70 possessions at minimum, if not more. And the last couple weeks or so, we've been slightly under 70. Now we're under 67 against Indiana. I think that we see something like that here against Michigan State. I don't worry about Michigan State's our defense. It's the best in the Big Ten. It's the Michigan defense that's surprisingly been pretty good as well. Neither one of these teams really shoot the three ball very well. I just see this game as like a grinded out type of game. Both these teams can shoot free throws, which kind of sucks, but both Michigan State and Michigan are both tall, so it's not like either one of them has a huge rebounding advantage. I think this game's very, very close. I would be on Sparty if I had to take the points, but I like the under 150.5 personally better.
the comments were on fire, man. Juice was asking people to mute Scoop. McIver says, "Yeah, I'm betting Sparty Scoop sucks."
Yeah, I also got shout out Scoop. I mean, Michigan
I'm going through
line.
them. Also, JJ Flannery says Tom Izzo poops his pants.
Obviously, see. I mean, that's just common sense. That's normal behavior.
Kent State, Miami, Ohio. Go ahead, Toast.
Hold on, let me pull up my notes first.
I'll go.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go through some comments. Go ahead.
I'm just completely on the other side of you from Kent State. Miami, Ohio has been in a little mini funk here. They've had 2 straight losses and against pretty bad teams, especially Western Michigan, who's a dreadful team. I know both of these are on the road. Miami is undefeated at home in conference, and I get Kent State's rolling right now, but they're rolling against lower teams. All the teams they beat were in the lower half of their conference. Ohio was their best win, and that was at home with a 1-point win. I think this Miami game goes the same way as that first Kent State game, where Miami really shut them down. I think they held Kent State to 38% shooting from the field. I think this is a nice bounce back spot here for Miami and being at home. Kent State's just due for regression. Miami's due for a solid game. Personally, Cam Kraft and Peter Sutter had 2 down games. I really think they'll have a better game here. This whole team moves the ball well. They're top 50 in assists. And most importantly, Miami is top 10 in 3-point shooting, while Kent State is 329th. This team is a garbage team shooting the ball from the perimeter. Kent State, I know you're going to say, I mean, I agree with you. They have a better defense in this one, but I think they're going to struggle to shoot the ball, even against an average defense in Miami. I just love Miami at home here. They haven't lost yet in conference. If this spread was over a possession, like in 3.5, I would probably consider taking Kent State. I think this is going to be a close game throughout, but I would definitely take the Miami at laying 1.5.
That was fascinating. Toast.
Golden Flash is up for me, playing really, really good basketball. Only losses on the road to Ohio and then at home to Akron. Both those teams are significantly better than Miami, Ohio. Kent State's probably the best defense in this conference, if you want to give or take whatever. But at the same time, is their offense bad? Yeah, but their offense is bad because they don't shoot the three ball well and they turn it over. But the turnovers haven't been so bad. They're really good at the free throw line. And one thing with this Miami team is that, yes, I get that they've lost a couple and they're in a really good spot at home, but they haven't seen anybody as far as defensively like Kent State in a long time. I mean, Eastern Michigan 311, Western Michigan 294, Toledo 333. Central Michigan 209. The only team that they have that was basically anywhere close to Kent State, and it's not even really close, is Troy. So I just think the Kent State defense is going to be too much, and anything that they lack offensively, they'll be able to produce defensively because they turn teams over at one of the best rates in the country, and Miami doesn't really hold on to the ball well. So yeah, I think Kent State wins this game.
So,
the Toast overdrafts his checking account. I don't know why it's so funny to me.
I like the one.
I don't have a checking account.
I like the one before that. It said Scoop gets more cheeks than a dentist. Like it took me a second. Like cheeks. Like cheeks.
The comments are good today. I missed it. This
next
is why
game.
I missed the show. The community. I miss Toast a little too.
Milwaukee, Youngstown State. Look, we talked about this on the Midnight Show. The pump fake guys were compelling. They gave a case for Youngstown State. It sounded logical. It sounded like a good bet. So I put Youngstown State up. Youngstown State seems like a great pick. Then I wake up and see Toast has submitted Milwaukee to the website. So
yeah, I also submitted Milwaukee to the website.
But you're taking the road team with the worst defense.
Yeah,
go ahead, Scoop. Go ahead.
Yeah, I like Milwaukee here. I know this is a rematch from earlier this year, but look at how bad Youngstown looked in that game. I think Milwaukee just matches up with Youngstown. I see this going pretty much the same way, kind of like a 15-point win, personally. Maybe 1 3-pointer would be good this time in this game, but this team scored 79 points against Youngstown in the first game, and that's without a 3. They played fast. They pound you on the inside. Pause. But Milwaukee doesn't take threes. They're 330th in 3-point attempts, and it's because their team, drives going on the inside. They have an awesome front court with size. Last time they out-rebounded Youngstown by 15. I see the same thing happening here. Youngstown just struggles to keep opponents out of the paint in the first place, and they give up a ton of offensive rebounds. But they're also just really balanced. They spread the ball well. Milwaukee has 5 players averaging over 10 points a game. And I know Youngstown has been great lately. I think their offense will be better in this game than the last one. And they're probably going to find a few open threes. Milwaukee doesn't exactly have a great defense, but on the inside, Milwaukee's just going to kill them all game. Youngstown has a good defense on the outside, but definitely not on the inside. So couple that with a poor defense and a Milwaukee team that's second in offensive rebounding in the country. The last time they played, they outscored Youngstown 62-28 in the paint. So they're going to have their way on the inside. I like them to win out right here. So go Milwaukee.
Toast.
For me, I just don't really think that Youngstown at home scares me. I think that we're getting the significantly better team as an underdog here. And Youngstown State has been playing better, but 3 of those last 4 games have all been on the road. Their last few home games, they blew out Purdue Fort Wayne. Then they lost to the giant that we know is IU Indy. That's a good loss. I'm not gonna grade them down for that. That's a hard place to be in.
Buzzsaw.
IUPUI.
Absolute buzzsaw. And then the previous game before that was the Wright State game. They won that game by 2. But if we all remember, that was $2 beer night. They were down by like 20 at halftime. It took a lot for them to come back in that game. The previous home game to that was Robert Morris. We don't really expect that to win, but they lost that. They lost to Cleveland State. My point being is that I don't really fear Youngstown State in the igloo. I'm not really worried about it. The Panthers are going to come in there dripping sweat. Shit's going to get all melty. Panthers up.
You guys are forgetting one thing. Tonight is a red out.
Oh, no.
I didn't know that.
It's a red out. It's a red out.
It's not like It's not stripe day like Cincinnati, but a red out's pretty important.
It's red out. The whole crowd's going to be rocking red. The igloo's going to be rumbling. Did we just freeze? Oh no, we're back.
For a second.
Yeah, it's a red out at the igloo. The crowd's going to be going crazy. Milwaukee. Yeah,
Did you bet Youngstown?
I'm about to.
You know what's coming?
I just didn't know. I wasn't talking.
I was waiting for you fake sharps to bet it down.
Senior night's coming, by the way, for a lot of these schools.
Oh, that's fascinating.
So that's going to be a lot of senior night picks for me.
Fading the Penguins in the igloo. Fading the Penguins in the igloo during a red out is just a suicide mission. Youngstown State wins. It's a spot play.
Youngstown is going to piss vinegar.
They're going to have vinegar in their piss for this one. Yeah, that's it. All right, everyone, if you're in the league, you have 1 hour 56 minutes to submit. I'm putting a few more bets up. So for those of you that are in the Discord and subscribe on the website, just give me a few minutes. I'm going to put a couple more up. I think I only have like 4 up. So I'm going to put a couple more up. So tonight, me and Toast will be back. Me and Toast and the Pump Fake guys will be back at 10 p.m. Eastern time for a quick show. I'm picking the 5 biggest games, and then we'll send it over to the Pump Fake guys because they're doing like a 4.5 hour marathon show. They're going through like 80-something games. So we'll be back at 10 p.m. for a quick one, just picking the 5 biggest games out. Then we'll send it over to them. And then tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Eastern time, we'll go through. I'm going to pick out the games actually probably about right now. Probably 28, 30 games like we always do. So if you're able to make it tomorrow morning for the this college basketball Saturday pregame show that we always do, it's usually a good one. See you all bright and early, 10 a.m. Eastern time. Well, actually, I'll see you all at 10 p.m. Eastern time. But then I'll see you again tomorrow morning for the big show. Bet responsibly tonight. Hit me up in the Discord if you need me.